How can we study God? Aquinas Day 8, Happy Feast of St. Martha. I'm Max, and today we look at the Summa Prima Pars, question 1, Article 7, whether God is the object of this science, i.e. Sacred Theology. Let's begin. We proceed thus to the 7th article. It seems that God is not the object of this science, for in every science the nature of his object is presupposed. But this science cannot presuppose the essence of God, for Damascene says, "It is impossible to define the essence of God, therefore God is not the object of this science." Objection 2. Further, whatever conclusions are reached in any science must be comprehended under the object of the science. But in Holy Writ, we reach conclusions not only concerning God, but concerning many other things, such as creatures and human morality. Therefore, God is not the object of this science. On the contrary, the object of the science is that which it principally treats. But in this science, the treatment is mainly about God, for it is called theology, as treating of God. Therefore, God is the object of this science. I answer that God is the object of this science. The relation between a science and its object is the same as that between a habit or faculty and its object. Now, properly speaking, the object of a faculty or habit is the thing under the aspect of which all things are referred to that faculty or habit. As man and stone are referred to the faculty of sight in that they are colored. Hence, colored things are the proper objects of sight. But in sacred science, all things are treated under the aspect of God, either because they are God himself, or because they refer to God as their beginning and end. Hence it follows that God is in very truth the object of this science. This is clear also from the principle of this science, namely the articles of faith, for faith is about God. The object of the principles and of the whole science must be the same, since the whole science is contained virtually in its principles. Some, however, looking to what is treated of in this science, and not to the aspect under which it is treated, have asserted the object of this science to be something other than God. That is, either things and signs, or the works of salvation, or the whole Christ as the head and members. Of all these things in truth we treat in this science, but so far as they have reference to God. Reply to objection 1. Although we cannot know in what consists the essence of God, nevertheless, in this science we make use of his effects, either of nature or of grace, in place of a definition, in regard to whatever is treated of in this science concerning God. Even as in some philosophical sciences we demonstrate something about a cause from its effect, by taking the effect in place of a definition of the cause. Reply to objection 2. Whatever other conclusions are reached in this sacred science are comprehended under God, not as parts or species or accidents, but in some way related to him. So it seems obvious. God is the subject of theology. Theo, God, ology, study of. But that does raise a big question. How do people study God? Obviously, we can't put him under a microscope. That would be silly. Experiments won't work because God is the one who created the natural laws on which the scientific method is based in the first place. So how do we study God? We can't know his essence, and that's an important note. When we say God, it's a term that we don't use like apple or human. We know what an apple is. We know what a human being is. We can recognize them by sight. We can give all sorts of... Our minds can comprehend these things, more or less. But God is different. God is more of a placeholder term for the incomprehensible. You can't figure out God. You can't pin him down. So again, how do we study God? And Aquinas says we study him by his effects. And these effects are either of nature or of grace. In other words, we can study creation or we can study revelation. Though we can never comprehend the totality of the divine essence, we can know real things about God either by reason, or we can know even more by what he has shown us about himself, hence by revelation. And that's pretty awesome, that we can know things about God, we can know him with our minds, but we can then proceed farther and know even more when we attend to those things which he has told us about himself. So again, that's amazing, and that's sufficient for today's discussion. So subscribe to join this journey through the Summa jungle, comment with the silliest thing you've ever thought about God, and like because it's the proper object of mouse clicks. And remember, Aquinas a day keeps the heretics away. See ya.